Live from Cabot, Arkansas, this is Answering Your Financial Questions with Coach Steve Money. Live. And that means we have audio, so all good. Glad to be coming here to you this Sunday afternoon. This show, Saturdays and Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And the next Ramsey Show After Show is on the 17th, this coming Wednesday, July 17th. For further financial content, answering your financial questions playlist right there. And I must not have added yesterday's to that. I'll have to fix that. But there's that one. In the music playlist, there's 9, soon to be 11 Ramsey adjacent songs. Give those a listen. Such as You Belong Debt Free. You Belong Debt Free. And, of course, the Ramsey Show After Show. And there are 377 of those. 378 will be this Wednesday, July 17th. Right? 15th? Yeah, 17th. Alrighty, let's get into the questions. This is from Land Rose, baby step 2 flare, advice on health savings account for pregnancy bills. Wife and I are 31 years old and expecting our 4th child within the next couple of weeks and are unsure if we should use our health savings account or stockpiled stored cash to pay for the medical bills. We started on the baby steps after finding out we were expecting again and then found the advice to do stork mode recently. I've watched several Ramsey Show videos, but I can't find anything related to our current situation, current breakdown. Probably don't need to know that. What would Dave do flare here? But just in case there's anything extra that we need to know. Come on. Uh-oh, something did go wrong. All right, let's try that again. Open link in new tab. Really? Server error. That's not a good thing to have for when you're trying to do a show. Let's see if it will open in this window. No, it won't. Wow, okay. All right, well, we'll go without that. Maybe, hopefully, it's only on this one. But regardless of, I mean, I'm assuming it's just the debt breakdown, so that's not going to affect the answer to this question. So the HSA, you can only use that money in there for medical expenses. And so you should probably use that first, and that way, if there's other things that you need your stockpiled stored cash for, and you would that way you could use it for other things as well. Say if, for example, something related to the pregnancy meant that is going to affect income. That kind of thing. And so then you could use your cash to pay bills and such, but the HSA you pay the medical stuff out of. So I believe that would be the advice on that. And if you're not familiar with stork mode, there's the baby steps right there. Baby steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how this works is they do have debt, so they are on baby step 2. And so you find out you are pregnant, and so you immediately go into stork mode. You pay minimums on all debts. And the only thing you're doing is stacking up emergency cash for anything that may be related to the pregnancy. So you're just piling up cash. And then when mom and baby are home safe, that's when you would take, hopefully, you still have a pile of cash that you didn't need to spend for whatever reason due to the pregnancy. And then you apply all that cash to whatever baby step you're on. In this case, the person's on baby step 2. The family, excuse me. And so then you would just apply all that cash to baby step 2. And in that way, you hope that makes it basically, except for the interest on the debt, that makes it exactly the same as it was before. Unless, of course, there are extenuating financial things that come up. that you have to use some of that stork mode money for. But the best case scenario is you are just saving it just for in the event that you need it for any reason related to the pregnancy. Walt Grace, 83, an old friend. Got a call from an old friend. We used to be real close. It's Billy Joel. An old friend posted that she needed help making a rent payment. About 2 months ago, the same friend posted about her new car she bought. These things just blow my mind. Hashtag, not hashtag, I guess rant off with the /rant. Yeah. That, and you know what this is? This is called normal people behavior. That's why we don't want to be normal. We want to be abnormal and be one of the few people taking Dave's advice. It's a very small percentage of people that will do this, and they don't want to do that because that allows you, although it does allow you to not have to ask for help making your rent payment, it also means you can't buy a new car. And so people don't want to do that sacrifice, so most people will not take this advice. And you just have to accept that. I mean, definitely tell anybody you know about it, and definitely be a good example yourself by following it. And, most people just accept the fact ahead of time, most people are not going to do this advice because they do not want to sacrifice. Mermaid Diva, 26, a small loan feels so big when it comes time to pay it back. Indeed. Husband and I decided last year to take out a $3,800 student loan for him because it was subsidized 0% and it was so small. May as well keep the extra money in the bank, right? That's what people think. That's what normies think. After listening to Dave Ramsey's show, I learned that it's stupid to keep debt like this around like a pet. That is true. No, I'm not going to arbitrage $3,800 in a high yield savings account for the next 4 years. Yeah, exactly. Dumb. We just made a $2,000 payment towards it, and man, did that hurt, and we still have $1,800 left on it. Baby step 2, flare. So, yeah. Yep. And fortunately, it wasn't a $3,900 student loan, and then now you've made that paradigm shift in your brain, and so now you won't do that dumb stuff anymore. Most of us, it takes a while. Most of us do dumb stuff for a long time, and that's why I do not hesitate saying that people are dumb and they're making dumb decisions with money because I could teach a master class in it. I did so much. So many dumb decisions. Fortunately, most of them don't have to do directly with money anymore. So that part's good, but still. Dumb decisions do happen with humans. There's nothing 2000. Pay for car repairs or pay down debt with any extra cash. Hey everyone. Hi guys. Just a bit of background. I recently found out my car needs $1,200 of repairs in order to be drivable condition again. It's currently costing me $700 a month, Canadian, in car payments. I know, stupid. Yep, I'm happy I found out about Dave, and I plan on paying it down very shortly and getting rid of the payments. 10 out of 10 regret it. My girlfriend has a car that I can be using. All right. In the meantime, that she rarely uses. Should I prioritize getting the car fixed and repaired, or use any extra cash to pay down a credit card debt? Buy now, pay later crap. Just trying to decide if it's good. If you can put off the car repair, if you won't have any problem, you don't want to be dependent on something like that, because yes, she's your girlfriend. Yes, she has the car. But there's a lot of things in there that it could be changed. What if you guys have a fight and then you can't use the car anymore, and then you've already put all your money on debt and you can't fix your car? Excuse me. So if you got to have transportation and you can't have you can't do any other kind, then you do need to save up and get that vehicle repaired to be in drivable condition again. Make sure that's not an exaggeration, like the person that has a leak in the bathroom, and instead of just fixing the leak, they do a $10,000 bathroom remodel instead. And so you gotta not do that stuff and make sure it's still. I mean, just $1,200. That's probably not a lot to spend to make it drivable again, but it depends on what's wrong with it. So I mean, you could get another estimate on it. But generally, you would fix that instead, because girlfriend is not permanent necessarily, and also she could change what she wants to do with the car. She could decide to drive it. She could decide she wants to sell it. Who knows? Who knows? And then you would be stuck in it. And then if you've sent all your money to debt, then you don't have any money to uh, fix the car with. So I'm assuming you would use car to get to work, etc., etc. So, and that would be cheaper than Uber every day. Tabletop Legends. 6 days ago, you don't need a credit history. That much is certain. In a reply on another post, a user commented that a credit history is needed to buy a car. Well, first of all, no, it's not, because when you buy cars, you're going to do cash for it. So if you give cash for it, you don't need credit history. No car loans. That's also part of the advice. So, I mean, there's no need to do like one or two of Dave's advices, as the kids say. You need to do all of them probably, or none of them. Trying to take stuff from 8 different financial advisors and putting that together, that's just going to make it take longer to get to the end of the baby steps, which is the fastest way to where you want to be at, theoretically. Let's see. You don't need to pay credit if you're paying cash for cars, right? Just like I said, you can get a mortgage with a lender who does manual underwriting. You can get an apartment and utilities without credit. You just need to put down a larger deposit. I didn't even have to do that. I didn't have to put down a larger deposit. The last 3 apartments that I got, without with an indeterminable credit score. And so people fronting, they're just trying to make excuses on why they need to do credit cards, why they need to do debt. Well, the world's making me do it. Nope. You're the one deciding that. Agitated record 9307. Should I sell my car? Let's see. Normally, when people ask that, they already know the answer, and that is usually yes, but we'll see. I guess that's supposed to be, hey everyone, hi guys, I'm on baby step 2 and I'm debating whether or not I should sell my car. A family member is moving out of state and offered to gift me his 12-year-old car. Oh, that's fun. It's in good condition and reliable, but has high mileage and shows its age. I already have a 3-year-old car that I really like, and I've been making payments on for a little over a year. It's worth $22K, and I owe $18K on it still. Debt-wise, I have $80K. Ouch. Yep, it's student loans. No other consumer debt other than the vehicle. I recently moved and started a new job, making $180K, and been aggressively paying it off. I mean, you can decide what you want to do as far as keeping the car, but it would really make I mean, you make great income now, and theoretically you should be able to pay that off. Even if you wanted to keep the car and pay it off, you would be able to make short work of that with that income, theoretically. But sometimes people don't do that. Sometimes people look at the income and they say, well, I'll pay faster on it, and they don't really pay that much faster on it. And so that part depends on you. But it really makes an immediate shift on it if you don't have a car payment anymore. If you use the 12-year-old car that you are going to be gifted, and of course make sure there's no strings attached to that being gifted. And if you want to avoid all that, I understand that. And then you would just keep the other car and just pay that bad boy off so very quickly. Theoretically, if you live on what you made before, you put all of your new higher income to that vehicle. Let's see if it will open now. And nope, still broken. All right, I wonder if I'm lucky I even got to this page. I guess we'll work with half stories today. Sad Amoeba 7745 money advice. Having about 2,700 worth of basement work being done so the wall doesn't cave in. You don't want your walls to cave in the basement. That's probably a good idea. Let's avoid that if we can. I took out a credit card that is 0% rate until December 25. Should pay with that or pay with my emergency fund. I have about $3,800 in it. Well, if the wall is actually going to cave in and it's not something, again, if it has, a crack this big in it, then probably you might want to get a second opinion on that. You don't need to remodel a whole basement because of a crack that big. So I would check on that. But basically, the credit cards, loans are going to be the last resort. And so if it wasn't something you would consider emergency, you don't use your emergency fund for it. So if this can be put off, if the wall is not going to cave in immediately, I don't know how much of an exaggeration that part is, but then you would just save up to have it done. Or see if you can make payments. See if you can work out payments with the basement work people instead of doing just immediately running to get a credit card. I get it. Might be scared about the wall caving in, but you didn't put it on there and have that done immediately. You had time to come to Reddit and ask if you should pay with emergency fund. But if the wall is actually going to cave in any day now, then that does absolutely qualify for an emergency. So you just have to be honest with yourself about what an emergency is. There's plenty of people that make up all kinds of stuff so they can justify using the emergency fund for a non-emergency. Alrighty. Dashbot. Help 82K in debt. So my wife and I recently decided we want to get out of debt for good. Excellent. But we need some help. Okay? I don't know if I just need advice or encouragement or what. Probably both. Here are the numbers. 12K on the Amex, 9,500 Citibank card. 8,000 on my school loan, 20,000 wife school loan, 21,000 on a car loan, sell the car, 12,000 on medical bills, total debt 87.5. Okay, we just had twins and we have a 3-year-old. I make 82. Wife makes 10K ish. Not sure about how much she will be working. Okay, I assume that's from like a side hustle since it's not that much money. So I assume that stuff she's doing from home or at night when the kids are sleeping, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, whatever she can bring in to help, that's great. Rental bringing in 18K a year. Sell the rental. We've fixed the problem. So you're doing debt leveraging by keeping the debt and keeping the rental property, especially if that rental is... You also have the mortgage on the rental. Let's see, we bought a house last year and spent all our savings. Yeah, we can't see. Let me try. Just going to try to see if Reddit.com. I'm going to opening it in a different browser. Microsoft Edge. Shout out to Microsoft. And where we are is reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, not run by Ramsey Solutions, but run by. Okay, so the main page came up. Nope, same error on that. So, okay. All right. So we'll just work with what we got on this, but yeah, you would sell that rental. So because you're debt leveraging all your other debt now in order to have a rental, even if it is paid off, but especially if it's not paid off, then you free up that amount to the mortgage payment if you're paying one. Spend all our savings. Yeah, so everything you're doing is wrong. So yeah, sell the rental and maybe sell that car as well. $21,000 on a car loan. Yeah, so sell that car. If wife's staying home, she does not need a car. So you guys can go down to one vehicle if you currently have two, at least temporarily. Dowood, or Dowood, Dowood probably. Financial advisor suggested move to fixed indexed annuity from an existing fixed index annuity. But based on Dave's advice on annuities, I'm thinking this will be a bad move, but would like confirmation. Yes, no annuities. So hopefully that's not a SmartVestor Pro. If it is, at this point, this is when you would call the Ramsey Solutions customer care line and report that SmartVestor Pro is not doing it correctly. SmartVestor Pros do it wrong too, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you do have to know enough to know if they're fronting, if they're doing whatever will make them the most money instead of what will make you the most money. And you do have to know that much. And this person did know that Dave does not like annuities. So good call right there. So do not do that. Run away from that financial advisor. Success stories of helping aging parents get on track. Well, that's difficult because generally, like Dave says all the time, and they're in baby step 2 storm mode. And we'll see why, hopefully, in a second. But well, let's just read. Let's see. One thing I realized as I've been reading Dave's books is that I really need to sit down and have some conversations with my mom, 66, about her future plans. Okay. Oh, and I remember what I was going to say now. Dave often says that someone that has changed your diapers does not want to hear from you about money or sex. So that is that problem there. Perhaps if you've been decent in your own finances, but baby step 2 storm mode does not sound like you've been decent in your own finances. And so, but you're reading Dave's books now, and hopefully you're all in now, and you'll be all good soon. But you don't have the track record of being good with your money either, apparently. So let's see. She's in good health, but always said she doesn't think she makes enough to ever be able to retire. Might not. Finally got a full-time position with the Tane in 2014. Yep, my grandmother in North Carolina would always say, instead of town, she would say Tane. Like T-A-N-E, Tane. After about 15 years of part-time. Okay, and she supplements with house and pet sitting pretty regularly. Okay, bursts into tears every time I bring up anything to do with money, retirement, aging. About 3 months ago, she got diagnosed with ADHD. What would Dave do? Okay, and so I mean, this may be what she considers her mom in baby step 2 storm mode. If she's in that, if you are in baby step 2 storm mode, then with your own issues, then you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you can help somebody else. And by you doing the right things, you will model good behavior for your mom. Let's just try it. You never know. It might just start working one day. Oh, yes, it works. Yes, fixed it. I used to be computer repair. Probably get back into that. Because I'm so good, obviously. Let's see what else we got. Because I am interested to see whose storm mode it is. Um, this was not a surprise to anybody who heard about the ADHD. But refuses to try meds. All right, I can tell her, okay, let's just do baby step 0. Figure how much money you actually make and spend. And that, of course, reminds me I need to make the baby step 0, the missing baby steps 0 and 3B. I need to make that video and find out how much is in your town pension plan. Okay. And a week later, she hasn't even tried to start on it. Okay, so with the ADHD, probably, and just being a normal person otherwise, you can't just tell her, like she's a 5-year-old, okay, let's just do baby step 0. You have to stay there with her and do that with her if you actually do want to help. That's what it sounds like to me. I keep telling her she'll feel better when she has hard numbers in front of her. Right, because then it's not as scary because you know, at least you know what it is. Even if it ends up being worse than she thinks it is, you still know for sure. But it's very easy to keep ostriching. Yep, I live over 1,000 miles away. Okay, you can still do it on the video conferencing that the kids are into these days. So I can only encourage her from a distance, right? She has no debt. Well, that part is fabulous. That is great. She lived her whole life according to Grandma's 2 principles: don't spend money and neither borrow nor lend or be. That is fabulous. Okay, she said she's able to get by, but also her time of just working part time for 15 years. That is probably what caused the problem. Most months on the under the table payments from dog sitting. So most, if not all, of her paychecks go in her savings account, making like 0.19%. Okay. She has no idea how to get started investing. Very suspicious of online banking, and I'm at a distance, so I can't go in person with her to talk to a consultant. At 66, not the best time to start investing. I mean, if any investing is happening, I would make that a minimum. I would put most of the savings in just the high yield savings account, which will get like 5% at the moment. Very suspicious of online banking. I'm at a distance, so I can't go in person, right? Kind bank teller recently persuaded her to switch the tens of thousands in the savings account to something making better interest, but my mom can't find the paperwork for it and doesn't remember the type of account or what percent it returns. She has to go talk to that bank teller then, so the bank teller can give her all that information again. So, I mean, it does sound like it's a little kid being involved with it. And so, I mean, there could be, when you get old, memory starts going, et cetera, et cetera. So I get it. I'm no spring chicken myself. And so I get it, but definitely something going on there. And if you're that far away, there's a limit that you can do. I know that regardless how healthy she is right now, 20 years from now, my brother and I will be responsible for her care, and she and my brother's wife don't get along, so it's down to me, really. I suspect she could be on baby step 4, but yeah, she is, definitely. I mean, she has tens of thousands in savings, then that would be enough for an emergency fund because her expenses can't be that much. So yeah, so she would be on step 4, but again, being so close to retirement age, even though she is working full time finally at 66 and hasn't for the past 15 years. I mean, maybe she can keep working. It depends on the job. Maybe she can keep working a long time. But you do not want to, like, for example, you would not put all of that savings into the market, and then she retires at 70 in 4 years, and then the market just happens to be down at that time. That's what you don't want to happen. And so that's why you would forego the extra in the market and just leave most of it in just high yield savings account, which that's going to have to be online. Unfortunately, you generally can't get that at a bank, a walk-in financial institution. You generally can't get even their high yield savings, their money market accounts. They don't pay that much. So you generally do have to do that online. But I'm not sure how to approach baby step 4 when the person is already 66 years old. Right. And that's what I was talking about the whole time. Anybody ever help their parents and have it work? I would maybe see if she has any other family there with her, talk to them and see what's up with them, or like friends or anything like that there, because it is hard to do from 1,000 miles away. And so, I mean, you can do the video conferencing with her if she can get that together to get that to work. You can do that, and you can try to help her as much as you can. But some of that, since you can't be with her, some of that's gonna have to fall on her to do. She'll have to go find that bank teller again and find out where that account is, because obviously you do want to know that. What if she needs the money from that? So yeah, that's and so the baby step 2 storm mode. So that's not the mom, that's this person. And so this person is dealing with that and trying to help her mom, maybe a healthy break from being in your own baby step 2 storm mode. Doesn't go into that, what that storm mode is. But that is some kind of emergency. So they have debt and they are just piling up cash for whatever problem is there. But I do not have not helped an aging parent get on track. I mean, as long as she's open to you talking to her about it, you can keep talking to her about it. That's all. I mean, and maybe eventually she'll stop crying when you bring up money, because you can just say, the problem is you're just crying about it and not doing anything about it. And next time it comes up, then you just cry about it again. It's a repeating circle and a repeating pattern. And then you need to, if you actually look at the numbers and such, then you can figure out the best way to address them. And definitely without any debt, she's in better shape than you are right now, even at 66. All right. Fabulous Mulberry 660. Should I still go in for this interview? All right, let's see what's up. I have an interview today for a restaurant, but I noticed they closed the application for the position I applied for. That may mean just they just have enough applicants. I don't know if that's a good or bad sign for me. No one reached out to schedule the interview. It was scheduled through the AI system immediately after I applied. I'd really hate to spend money to get there just to be told they'll keep my application saved for the future, or that position has already taken. Well, that's up to you. Nothing good happens from you sitting at home playing video games or something, or watching TV. When you could do that interview, and guess what? That company may own other restaurants. Like, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what that could lead to? That could lead to something. You staying home does save you the cost and time of going to it. But I would still go to it, especially if you don't have a job now. You don't have anything better to do than go to interviews, even if it doesn't mean it leads to a job directly. It still could in the future. Senate Sweaty 8575, pay off 5.65% mortgage or invest. Okay. A lot of people love to do that, and that's called debt leverage, when you keep your mortgage around and invest more than the 15%. Invest 15%, and then you don't invest a penny more than 15% of gross income until you pay off the mortgage early. Could pay off in less than 5 years if aggressive. Well, be aggressive and do it then. And then after that, then you can invest that mortgage payment. Very simple. Standard Dave advice, which is no debt leverage. Midwest. Shout out Midwest. I'll be back there one of these days. Most Peace 8086. Should I file bankruptcy? 38, female, never married, no kids. My elderly parents live with me and I pay for food expenses and occasional home or car repair. They are retired and on a fixed income. My siblings, 3 all older adults. Another family cannot help me financially and do not live close by. I currently owe 36K in credit card debt, 60K in student loans, 114K on home mortgage loan. And my other household bills, including health insurance, is about $840 a month. I make 1.8 every 2 weeks. Credit score is 658. That doesn't matter. How much does that help you in this situation? None. None. No, you should be working your butt off. Not married, no kids. You work 8 jobs. A bachelor's in broadcast journalism and then a master's, and it doesn't, let's see how much making. If it will. It will. It worked again. Working human resources. Never missed any bill payments. Great. You don't need to do bankruptcy. Let's see. I'm currently making the minimum payment about $5 to $10 more on my credit card. Credit cards. You don't do that. You put all the extra on the lowest one to get rid of it. I've tried to avoid using any of them unless I'm in an emergency. You stop using any of them, period. You save up your $1,000 emergency fund, and that is what you use for emergencies. And make sure it's an emergency. Car's paid off. Great. The only asset in the name is the home, all right? I have no other assets. The most I have. Unexpected expense always seems to happen, like a water leak that required repair or needing new tires. Yep, life happens. I currently do not spend anything on luxuries for myself, just the basics. That's how you got to do it. Try to supplement my income by selling items on selling items on Mercari and Poshmark. Money from that is hit or miss. Yeah, it's going to be, but any little bit helps. Last year I made 1K. If I file bankruptcy, I'd like to keep my home. Yeah, see, that's the whole deal. So are the parents kicking in for stuff on their fixed income? Are they living there for free? Is what I would ask. Maybe try to get some money from them. Take full responsibility for getting in my financial amount. No. Breakdown of what I owe. 25 to 32 an hour. Yeah, you just gotta work more. Might have to get a second job. Work somewhere else on the weekends, and maybe nights and weekends at somewhere else. So I mean the breakdown of the debt, that's fine. It's a lot. But yeah, you would pay off, instead of putting $10 on each different one, like I said. You see, people do their own thing, and it makes it take longer than just doing the advice the way Dave gives it. So yeah, you just got to work more. Which is easy to do because your parents don't need you to babysit them. And if you don't have kids, you don't have a husband to spend time with, then you have nothing else to do except fix your dumb debt mistakes. And like I said, perhaps the elderly parents with their fixed income, they can spend some of their fixed income on housing, because they would have to do that if you were not around to take them in. So they can certainly kick in some. Anonymous Gumball, how much physical cash do you like to have at your house? How much do I have? I have some like older coins, so say, like nothing worth, a bunch of money, but I have some like older coins, like 20s or something. I think I have an 1800s something or another. But anyway, it's like there's nothing that's worth a real bunch of money. But that is all I have in physical cash. I don't do anything with cash. I do the budget. I'm one of those rare people apparently that can do it. Where you never had any problem. Ex-wife never had any problem either. When we decided to start being smart with money and make the budget, we would just stick to the budget and use debit cards instead of having to do cash envelopes. Let's see, grandmother. Oh, this is about the grandmother. My grandmother has a fear of banks and keeps close to 100,000 savings in cash at a safe in our home. Yeah, you're not making any interest on that. So yeah, but my dad likes to have almost all of his cash in a high yield savings account for the interest. Yeah, should I keep 5,000 at home or should I put that cash in a savings account? It has to be somewhere. If it's your emergency fund, it has to be somewhere you have immediate access to it. You have to have debit card or check writing privileges on that account so that you have access to it immediately. And that way you don't need cash at home because you can use one of those two payment methods. Or take the money out of a ATM, that kind of thing. So if it's your emergency fund, if that's not your emergency fund, the 5,000 instead should be applied to whatever baby step you're on. And there shouldn't be any then the 3 to 6 months of living expenses fully funded emergency fund. That should be all of your savings except for maybe sinking funds like for tires, as mentioned previously, and other things. Yeah, it's an emergency fund. You got to make sure it can be in a high yield savings account, but you do have to have immediate access to it because emergencies don't generally wait while you are waiting for that 1 to 3 day transfer. But 100,000 savings laying around the crib is crazy, Grandma. Whoops. That's crazy, Gamma. Sing with Grace. 2. Liquidate mutual fund or not to. Okay, well, if it's in a retirement account, it depends on what account it is. If it's a mutual fund in a retirement account, that's going to be a negatory good buddy. The only time you would do that is you tap a retirement account only if you're retired or to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy. Let's say, howdy. Hi, guys. I'm a newly divorced single mom with 2 little girls making $60K a year teaching in the divorce. I got $18K mutual fund, non-retirement, and Honda. Yeah. Liquidate it and put it to whatever your baby step is. I have a $16K in the bank. I also have $18K in debt, lawyer fees, and to my parents. None has any interest. I'd love to trade in the Honda for a larger car that fits my girls. Nope. 2 girls can fit in the Honda. And their car seats and strollers more comfortably. 2 little girls can fit in the Honda. 2 adults and a driver can fit in the Honda. Fine, including car seats. You're justifying what you want to do. So that's a no. After setting aside my $1,000 and paying off my debt, can I set aside 3 months' expenses and use the rest for a reasonably priced used SUV? Being newly divorced, a mom of 2 girls, I would have a 6-month emergency fund instead. So yeah, you cash that out. You cash that out, and I mean, I guess if you cash it out, you would have to pay for any gains that have been made since it was bought in. But yeah, pay off your debt. But you don't need a new car. Let's see if anything changes that advice. I would love to. Yeah, tough. Your life has dealt you a bad hand. You don't get to make that kind of choice right now. It's very bad for you to do that. Use the rest for reasonably priced used SUV. No, you don't need one. The Honda needs a $1,500 AC fix and it's hot in Texas. Yeah, that's too bad. Roll down the windows. Don't spend that much time in the car. Just go to and from work. And probably to and from daycare, which that's costing you a lot as well. So you can't afford to upgrade in car. You don't need it either, in this reporter's opinion. But yeah, you can liquidate any time. If you need money, you can liquidate anything that is in a a non-retirement account because you'll just have to pay on the taxes on the gains. You won't have to owe any kind of penalty. Sun Ripple, baby step 2, selling my car in the Sanford, Florida area. Ba-dum-bum-bam-bam. This is the theme from a show from the 70s called Sanford and Son, starring Red Fox, comedian. I have my emergency fund. Great. I bought this brand new car in March. Beep, 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 before I found Dave, and now I'm on completely bored. Okay. He's on completely bored with the plan. Great. The problem is that I owe $26.5K on my car loan, and CarMax, or the dealership I bought it from, is only offering $20K, and that's called an underwater car. Yes, dude. That means I need to spend $6.5K to close the gap on the loan. Yes. I have enough to close the gap, but that doesn't leave me enough money to buy replacement transportation. I just heard him say that CarMax and dealerships lowball you because they're trying to turn a profit. Yeah, any dealership. You need to leave a dealer out of it. So you see what private sale will give. If they will give you $20K, private sale should get you closer to the $26.5K. And let's see. I don't think I need to open that. So here I am. Yeah, that's just a sum up. So baby step 2 flare. So what I'm going to say here is that Dave would also say that you can, so let's just say, to make the math easier, so say that private sale will get you the full 26.5. So you're not underwater on it. You can sell it. They give you the money and you pay the car off, and they give you the title, and then you give the title to the new happy buyer that is buying a used car from you, which you should have done previously. But can't go back before. We can't find Dave early. Even if we find Dave early, that doesn't mean we do the advice right away. Sometimes it takes us many years, decades even, to actually do the advice. But then you need money. So you would use, if you have the full emergency fund, which I guess you mean only the 1,000. So you would have to also, while you're trying to make that work, you would have to save enough to buy a hoopty. And if you can't do that, Dave is fine with you getting a $2,000 loan, or $3,000, something like that. Something you want it to be as low as it can possibly be. He's fine with you getting a $3,000 loan because it will get rid of the $20,000 loan. No, wait a minute. Where is it? $26,500 loan. So, and that lowers your debt by $24,000. And so he is fine with you doing that. And that is how you sell underwater cars. Even if you don't have any money saved, you just take the a loan for the difference. And then you'll have that loan much smaller than the loan for the entire car. What is index funds question? What does Dave Ramsey think of index funds? Let's say I still wanted to invest in the following funds according to the Ramsey plan. Is it more than that? But instead of actively manage growth stock funds, can the following index funds be used in the following way? You can do whatever you want, sir. But if it's a retirement account, Dave says manage funds, and he says that they can make more than the index, and he's right, because I have found those funds. And there's a bunch of them. You just have to look for them and not be lazy and just not say, I'll just do index. And that way I can do that and just do the index and set it to go automatically, and then I don't think anymore. Lazy, leaving money on the table. But you can do whatever you want as far as retirement. That's great. You don't have to follow Dave's advice. You don't have to run it by Reddit. What would Dave do in retirement accounts? He would do managed funds, because you're leaving money on the table if you just go with index. And of course, lately I've been saying, if you're just doing S&P index, that's ridiculous. because out of the last 15 years, I think 4 times the S&P has beaten the NASDAQ index. So even if you're going to be lazy and do index, why not put a little bit, maybe 50-50 at this point, into NASDAQ index fund? But for retirement, Dave advises managed funds because they can beat the index even after you take out the higher expense ratio. It still makes more, considerably more than the index, some of them. Again, it depends on which ones you find, but you have to even look for them and not be lazy in order to find them. As far as what does Dave Ramsey think of index funds, he uses index funds. S&P 500 index fund is what he has all of his real estate buying money in, and he just accumulates that while he looks for deals because he doesn't buy anything that's not a fantastic deal for him, and that's how he has become so rich from real estate. So it's not like, oh, I want to get a rental and then ends up making a net $100 a month on it. Dumb. Yeah. So anyway, manage mutual funds for retirement. He does advise index funds for saving for a purchase. So like if you want to buy if you're not buying a house for if you've got 5 years, you can put it in the market and use that as a piggy bank. If you don't have 5 years, it's more of a chance that the market would be down right when you need the money. So it can't be money that you would need before a certain time period. All right. Little agua. Oh, that was day in 13 thread has previously tried to get free searching. Try to get you to give him or her the funds that you spent your time finding, but can't be bothered to do that themselves. And there's enough of them where if you try to look, you will find some. But people don't like to try to look. They just say, there's none out there. That doesn't happen. No Leopard 7163, 37K in debt. I'm 37.644K in debt. Okay, doesn't matter. Credit cards and personal loan with Upstart. Upstart, I believe, is for a business loan, and you do not build a business with debt. You do cash only for businesses. So yeah, and so guess what? That is a personal loan, even though you did it for business. That's a personal loan, dog. So you're doing it wrong. You figured it out. Good. Made bad decisions 2 years ago. They're still haunting me to this day. Excellent. That you know that they're bad decisions. I maxed out all of my credit cards and now I have only 500 left in savings. I'm torn between using the snowball method or opt for dialing debt consolidation. It's consolidation, according to Mr. Ramsey, because you're just moving around. You're not doing anything. You're just moving it around. Your credit score currently stands at 608, and that doesn't mean crap, does it? You're still in all that debt. That's not helping you at all, is it? No, it's not. That's why we don't care about credit score. You do not need it for anything. Recently, I tried applying for loans, but all it didn't. You don't need to get a loan, dummy. Jeez. No, I didn't do that stuff. I didn't like move it around constantly and constantly move it to different cards. But you don't need a loan, dummy. You need to pay it off, what you have now. Due to high credit card utilization. Yeah, they will do that. If you use cards too much and you have too much of a debt to income ratio, then they're going to be like, nah, dog. And guess what? You know how bad off you have to be for the banks to not give you money? They will loan people way more than they should in the first place. So if they will not loan to you, then that's how bad a shape you are in. Don't be dumb and keep doing that. I thought you said you made bad decisions 2 years ago. So if you know they're bad, why are you trying to do the same dumb crap over and over again? That is dumb, my friend. Let's see. Let's credit card. None of that matters. Look at all the, yeah, 21. The time to look at the 21.99% and the 28.99% and the 27.49. They don't matter now. You're stuck with it. You got it. You have to pay those off as quickly as possible to get rid of them. The time to look at those would have been before you took out those cards instead of now. You look at these interest rates and thought, oh, that's too high. I'm just not going to get what I want to get now, or, churn, debt from one card to the other. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be faced with those interest rates. All right, let's see. Housing 800, phone 60. That's fine. Work transportation 200. Netflix. Let them have one, I guess. Food 150. So I think I can manage 150 a month. All right. Yeah, none of that's crazy. Recent promotion and monthly income will increase to $4,000. Great. Pay off that debt. Quit trying to fix it by doing more loans. I'm considering saving up to have at least $3,000 in my savings account and then allocating all. No, you do $1,000. See, let's look at the baby steps right here. It says save $1,000 as fast as possible. It doesn't say, and if you want to, save $2,000 more. It does not say that right there. Alternatively, should I pursue debt consolidation? No, because it's a con. It cons you into thinking you've done something and you haven't. So, not advised by Mr. Ramsey nor by Coach Steve Money. Secure Command 930. Used car dilemma. Long story short, I'm with Dave on his stance on vehicles. Well, great. I am absolutely debt averse, and vehicle payments are something I simply can't live with. I've owned 3 vehicles in my life. The first and third I paid in cash used. First was a Chrysler Intrepid. Paid for $3,000 back in the day. Great. Canadian dollars, for reference. Second was more of a splurge. Jeep Grand Cherokee that I put a large down payment on. But payments on that was about $20,000. And paid it off very early, within a year. Great. Absolutely despise car payments. Not enough to not get that Jeep Cherokee, though. So come on, let's see now. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. Vow to never have them again. Okay, that's great. If that made you decide to not do that ever again, great. But if you despise it, why'd you do it in the first place? I need to have this Grand Cherokee. Oh my goodness. Okay, can we go put it out the collective wisdom? I know Dave would say buy beater with the 2K. Yes, I don't have to read any of this crap. That is the right, but I can't find anything under 10K that isn't basically falling apart or requires extensive repair. I'm going to say that's hyperbole there. I'm going to basically falling apart or requires extensive repair. You already said you hate car loans. You already said you regret it. You already said you're not going to do it again. Then why are you trying to do it again? This is just like the last person. Almost said caller. I don't have calls yet. Maybe one day. That would be pretty cool. But what would Dave do? What do you mean, what would Dave do? You know darn well what Dave would do. Gosh. Dumb. Stupid. Making the same mistakes over and over again, despite saying, this person said it was a bad decision 2 years ago and still haunting me to this day, but still doing it, still trying to get more cards, still trying to do debt consolidation, still trying to move the money around instead of address it. And this person too, as well. Needs a car for whatever reason. I didn't even read why. Doesn't matter why. Make sure that it is a need and not just a want. It sounds like it was a need. But yeah, you buy the cheapest car that you can. And you are being too picky if the lowest one is $10,000. You're being too too picky. What would Dave do, Flair? Dave would tell you to stop being stupid. I don't know if he would tell you that or not. He might tell you that's dumb, though. He does say that a lot. Different mood, 5643. Home building. My husband, 24 man, and I, 23 female, are young parents of 2. We're both debt free, and my husband makes over $100,000 a year, not including yearly bonus. We have a rental payment of $1,550 a month. The house is a blessing in our current market, but is small and isn't in the best condition. That's too bad. We are feeling very discouraged with money. Why? Because we want a bigger house, a bigger, nicer house. My husband works 50 hours a week, and we keep saving constantly, but it feels like we'll never be able to buy a house or have... Oh, you're renting. Oh, they're renting. Okay. Yeah, or have our dream of building our own house with our own hands. Yeah, you got to be in a great position to do that, because you also have to live somewhere while you're building your own house with your own hands. Sometimes you don't get to do stuff you want to do if you've made stupid money decisions so far. So being debt free is not dumb. The 100K a year is not dumb. The dumb part might be staying in a high cost of living area when you don't make high cost of living money. We see friends who have, it doesn't matter what your friends do. They are not in your financial position. And also, they're probably debt leveraged up to their eyeballs. Let's see what the rest of it is. We have friends who have 5,200. They bought a few years ago for what the going rate on a 1,200 square foot is right now. Right, and you were not in a position to do that, apparently. And so that's not God's fault. That's not your friend's fault. That's your fault. And so why weren't you able to do that? That is the problem. Why weren't you able to do that? So whatever that problem was, whatever that reason was, fix that. We can't even afford to just buy land. Wah! Everybody doesn't get to buy land and build their own house. Sorry. My mother-in-law was gifted their house by parents. Great. See, you can't compare yourself to other people. It doesn't matter what their situation is, because you are not in that situation. Sister-in-law pays $800 a month for a house 3 times our size because her parents own it. It's been very discouraging. You get more help. You get more help if you have debt. What does that mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. Because like people feel more sorry for you or whatever, I guess. But I mean, that's a great start, is being debt free. But you also have to, I mean, where's the money going? Where's the $100,000 going? Not to daycare, apparently. Where's the $100,000 going? See, this is what people always leave out there. They just whine about, well, I can't have this like my friends have. Or, they're in this particular situation and that works out great for them, and so I'm jealous. That's dumb. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It only matters about your situation, because that's the one you have to fix and deal with. Embrace the reality of your own situation and do whatever you can to make it better, which is normally this list of baby steps that are right here. So if you don't have any debt, that's fabulous. So if you have no debt, that means you should already have 3 to 6 months of expenses into a fully funded emergency fund. And now here's where you start investing and save a down payment for a house. And the only problem would be, where is all the other money going? And if it's because you live in a high cost of living area, you have to move probably. Or you deal with just renting forever until you save for 10 years. Maybe you can get a house at that point. Let's see. Comparison is the thief of joy. Absolutely. I just want to see if anybody asked where else the money was going. Because the money going somewhere. The money going somewhere. I mean, you have babies. You might be spoiling them. Possibly. Land suitable. Hiring a custom builder. Yeah, you're out of your mind. Yep. Get a job and contribute? Yes. That's right. $20 a week at $20 an hour. Make a big difference. Working even, delivering pizza, maybe as a waitress, evening shifts at Chick-fil-A, something. You work when your husband isn't. Right. And that's what you got to do if you want to get something. Not just whine on Reddit, because whining on Reddit isn't going to do anything except give me content. And I know you don't want to provide content for me for free. Let's see. Just seeing if OP added in there. I don't see anybody asking about. I did, working more to get more money, sure, but nobody's saying. With 2 kids and I have 2 large dogs, it's kind of small. Wah, again, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, I read most of it. I get it. I didn't read. I don't probably. I think I did read them all of this one. Yeah, I'm just seeing if OP. Let's see. Nope, OP did not go in there anymore. Maybe just wanted to whine and vent, and after that was fine. Possibly. Oh yeah, I did read the whole thing because it's not that long. So, but yeah, just jealous of other people's situations. You're not in that situation, so tough. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you one bit. You saying, you being jealous, you telling us about all those other people's situation doesn't change your situation. Do something to change your situation. And that'd be a good thumbnail for this. I don't make any thumbnails for these ever, but you do something to change your situation. That would be a good one. Let's see. Appropriate set 6743457B. Will I be able to get a Social Security check? My employer offers a pension and 457B. They pay 2% into it. I pay 4%. Being a quasi-government employee, I don't pay into Social Security. My concern is at retirement age, I would need to rely on my pension and 457B only. What happens if those resources run out? Social Security would be available as long as I was still kicking. Should I have a side job that does pay Social Security so I have enough put in to be eligible? If you previously worked, you would get credit for previous Social Security payments. If you previously did. But if you're not putting into it now, why would government people not have to pay into Social Security? Another benefit, but then you don't get any. So you would just invest more in your own retirement. Put more in the 457B or in a Roth IRA account, which is likely better than both of them, depending on what investments are offered with the 457B. How would Dave answer this question? Working Mind 4950. I've listened to Dave Ramsey for probably 2 decades off and on since I was a kid and have been listening in earnest the last 4 or so years. We've actually been following the plan. Excellent. Today I have a question for you all that I'm generally torn on. Nothing's fine, I'm torn on how he would answer it. I could see it going either way for different reasons. All right, I would love to tell you my opinion of this. And I'm interested in some input. Phrasing. Me, 28, and my wife, 28, have been working baby step 2 now for 3 years. We started with about 170K in debt, not including the house, and 80K income. We had cards, personal loan, lots of student loans. Things have improved a lot over 3 years. Income is recently up to 160. All that's left is student loans, student loan breakdowns. I don't care about. My question is about the Parent Plus loans. When my wife originally took them out with her mom, there was a loose agreement for her to repay them, basically. Okay, then she needs to pay it. We will figure it out one day. Yeah, they were about 45K and have ballooned over to 69K if they have been either unpaid or only paid minimums. Yep, We know that these loans are legally not our responsibility whatsoever, but we had them in our planned debt snowball all along, so pay them off. Expecting to pay them. Somewhat recently, my mother-in-law refinanced and consolidated, still separate. We knew which is which. Okay, my wife and her brother's loans. My brother-in-law is 100K plus. It doesn't matter. He is not financially able, but seemingly unwillable to, and that doesn't affect you. What you said, what your wife said to her mom. Mother-in-law got a lower repayment plan. Is likely something she can afford to pay during her retirement, though obviously not ideal. My mother-in-law's plan is to pay minimums for the rest of her life and let it grow and grow and eventually go away when she dies. Additionally, my mother-in-law has positively, verbally released us from ever paying this Parent Plus loan of $69K. I think my mother-in-law feels that if my brother-in-law will never pay, then my wife, well, I mean, that's up to, you got to do what you guys can sleep with at night. If the wife previously said that she would pay it off, you should still pay it off. The dilemma is this: should we accept the dismissal of a debt, or should we still pay it off? If the wife said that they would do that, regardless of whether it was a loose agreement or not, then pay it off. If she never said that, then you can take that as you will. It still benefited her. It was still taken out for her college. And so some people would think that alone would make it your debt. But again, it depends on how you think about it. But if she ever said that, yes, I'll pay it off, no matter how loose it was, need to pay it off. But part of me is so sad to know they will be saddled with this debt forever. They meaning mother-in-law? Or what? His wife's mother? Even if it doesn't bother them, what does that mean? Is she married? But beyond that, or are they being overly woke with them, calling mother-in-law? I don't think mother-in-laws need to be called a them. But beyond that, it feels like a waste of 2 more years of our lives in baby step 2. Hey, that's what you married. You said you already had it in your debt snowball, so somebody thought it was supposed to be paid off by you if it's in the debt snowball. So, again, be intellectually honest with yourself about this stuff. And don't just all of a sudden turn things around. You added in the debt snowball. That means you planned on paying it. And so I'm going to say you probably got to pay it. Know that even if we pay our part, they will still be 100K from the brother-in-law. That will never get paid. That doesn't have anything to do with you. That part does not have anything to do with you. None of that matters. People are nuts comparing themselves to other people. It doesn't matter that it's the same situation, being a Parent Plus loan from mom, and that one, I believe you. When you say that will never get paid, I believe you, but it doesn't affect your life one bit. It doesn't mean that you should get that same outcome. That's because he's gonna not pay it. You had it in your debt snowball, so that means you planned on paying it. So that means, I guess, you thought you needed to pay it. So what's changed? Now you just don't want to. And you can change your mind on it, sure. But again, you just need to be intellectually honest with yourself instead of trying to turn things around so that now all of a sudden you don't have to pay it. Good luck on that one. CMD 72589, money over being a full-time mom. Money over being a full-time mom. Oh, I see. To make more money instead of being a stay-at-home mom. I got it. Maybe this is the wrong form. No, perfect form. To add this in because y'all Dave Ramsey people will talk me out of it. Haha, but maybe that's what I need. Depends. So is my life dilemma begun to be crazy into money and debt payoff? Great. It's rough right now because our expenses are very high with mortgage and daycare, soon to be 2 in daycare. But ultimately, very into budgeting and investing right now. I have a great job where they pay well and match 10% 401k. That is pretty cool. So I have about 200k in my 401k now. But lately I want to go everything. Lately I want to go everything in my head says and be a stay-at-home mom and be home with my kid. And especially it depends on how much you're paying for what's that called? Daycare. Be a stay-at-home mom and be home with my babies, and that's what you got to think about. That's what you got to think about when you take out a mortgage. Both parents working, take out a mortgage, and then all of a sudden there's two babies. So before you take out the mortgage, you got to think ahead about, oh, I might have babies, and I might want to stay home with the babies. You got to think about that at a time. Another example. Student loan. Oh, I'm going to sign for the student loan. Let me just sign up for that student loan to get that degree. Okay. And you get that degree and everything else. But while you're signing it, you need to think for a second. Oh, wait a minute. What if I have babies and I want to stay home with my babies? Did you threaten babies? You should not threaten babies. That's from a show called Orphan Black. Highly recommend. Not the new one. Haven't seen that one yet. Orphan Black Echoes. But the previous one with Emmy winner Tatiana Maslany. She's fabulous in that. Where was I? Oh, which I know would be so dumb for me to do as I have a great job and great benefits. It depends. It depends on how much the daycare is taken out of you. I even went down to part-time 4 days a week and still get paid decently well, $96K compared to $120K. Okay. I always lean toward working mom life and always consider stay-at-home life to be scary because why depend on someone else for financials when they can divorce you and basically destroy your life, retirement, livelihood. Whoa, it took a dark turn. I mean, I've seen all the stories, how the dynamic changes too. The stay-at-home mom does everything. But then the thought always creeps back in my head about how amazing it would be to not have an agenda or be stressed out and get to see my babies every day. Then I lean back the other way and I'm like, no. She's like, no. How old? I'm like, no. Why would I give up my 6-figure job and maybe have to take a pay cut back down to 70, 80K, going back into workforce in 5 to 8 years and give up that 401K match? I'm so torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn. Plus, I don't necessarily want to give up my lifestyle. Lifestyle would be the last thing to consider in this reporter's opinion. And my husband, while he could support us with his little comma there would be fabulous. My husband, while he could support us with his income, as he also makes 6 figures, he's also got a decent amount of debt. That would take him longer. Okay, so if you're married, it's our debt. And you guys should have been paying off that debt instead of getting that house. So you're doing it wrong. That would take him longer to pay if he had to contribute to the full mortgage and my bills. I only have $7K left on my car that I purchased last year, $37K. Also to note, we keep finances separate for many reasons. Long story. And then, yeah, okay, you're doing it wrong. And then longer to save for his retirement because he's definitely behind. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. I know the correct answer is to absolutely not do this. Yeah, I mean, that's everything you're doing. That doesn't even affect the stay-at-home mom thing. That's secondary to you doing it wrong, buying a house while you both still have debt, and then not combining finances. But sometimes I really want to say forget the math for 5 years and do it and find a way to figure it out once our kids are older and have time to hustle. We would combine finances if we did do it. And no, he would agree and make it work if I truly wanted to do it. I just think it's definitely not smart. So how do I get this out of my head? Okay, so before reading the rest of it, I would consider this. You go back to work and you do not spend money on crap except necessities. The only thing you're spending money is on necessities. Both of you are working, granted, children in daycare. And then you work as much as you can and cut the budget as much as you can in order to pay off all of the debt from both spouses. All debt gone, full emergency fund, and then after that, then you can be a stay-at-home mom. So that might be what I would suggest. I would at least think about that. Edit Dad, thanks everyone for advice and comment. I just wrote this in a moment of being very upset this morning. Sure, been sick lately, upper respiratory infection. Then got the pandy, now bronchitis. That is not fun. On top of being third trimester, that is not fun at all. Even the third trimester by itself, I don't think is fun at all. I haven't been in that situation, so I don't know. Health hasn't been good due to my physical health and having to work through sickness. Okay, because saving PTO for leave. All right, always come back to the conclusion that's not a smart choice for our family, at least this point in time. I did bring it up to my husband, and he mentioned, hashtag mentioned, we can revisit it after next year, so I will hold off. Everyone's telling me to combine finances. Yes, I know. Trust me, I've tried to have convos with my partner, and it went from husband to partner. All of a sudden, it went from husband to partner. What is up with that? And it doesn't usually go the best. So the best thing for me personally is now keeping it that way until he pays his debt and willing to share info with me. But I'm excited to keep on Dave Ramsey. You can't do this by yourself in a marriage. You can't do it by yourself in a marriage. And you trying to do it's gonna lead to more problem. But I guess, you can pay off your car and that's it. But and if you can't combine finances, and if you don't have and he's not willing to share info, that's when you don't get married and have 2 babies with somebody, if they're not willing to share info. So you did it wrong. And so definitely counseling for you kids. Definitely do that. But see, this is gonna be the problem. So you have separate finances. And so you're going to be completely debt-free. And so then you just have to wait around for him to be debt-free until you can combine such. And until he's debt-free, then that's when you also shouldn't probably be a stay-at-home mom either. So you both being debt-free, you working on it together, because it's our debt in a marriage. And it's not a partner, it's a freaking spouse. Husband. You said husband the whole time, and then in this last little bit, you said partner. It's very telling for me. So there might be other issues that we don't know about. Yeah. So, good luck with that. There's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, and if you had made better financial decisions previously, then you would be in a position to do that now. But since you didn't, you're not. And since you didn't combine finances, and since you got married and had 2 babies with somebody that would not give you information on their finances, that was a mistake as well. And since you did that, then that means you can't be a stay-at-home mom now, when you easily could have been. Because with those kind of incomes, if you had been determined to pay off the money, and most of it would be you would be paying off way more of his debt than he would be, if you still wanted to keep track of who, how much money each person contributed as far as paying off debt. You would be contributing more to his debt than vice versa, just to keep score. Which you shouldn't do, obviously, but so I don't see why it hurts him. Although some guys, even some females, get where they're too proud to have you help them with their money problems, that kind of thing. And so would rather instead be, well, I'll marry this person and we'll have 2 babies, but I'm not going to tell her my full financial story. And, which to me, that just means it's worse than even you think it is what I would think. All right. This is why I'm white. All right. I don't think it works like that. I think you're white first from the beginning, and then everything else happens. There's not a reason that happens that you're white after you're born. Rude telemarketing. Dave Ramsey, Smart Money. Just got a call from a Smart Money rep. I let him pitch last year. What is Smart Money? Is that a Smart Investor Pro? I don't think Smart Investor is a Ramsey Smart Money. The Smart Money Happy Hour. Smart Dollar is the employee. That's it, basically FPU, Financial Peace University. But the one that the employer offers, and they present that at their business for the employees. Yeah, it's just maybe getting mixed up with the Smart Money, Smart Kids Happy Hour, or book, and the Smart Money Happy Hour. That Rachel and George do. So that's going to be a no on that one. So maybe a Smart Investor Pro, maybe, is what he's thinking. I let him pitch last year. I liked the product, but wasn't ready to sign up my company. Oh, it is a smart. Okay. Got another call today. Let him spiel, and at the end told him I didn't think I was quite ready. Instantly hung up on me. Okay. Well, they may have a quota, or they just don't know how to overcome obstacles. Well, they probably do know how to spell obstacle, which you don't. But whatever the case, I would stay away. Sounds like they just want you to sign up and move on. Yeah, it's rude to just hang up without saying, okay, sir, I understand. Have a good day. You can say that, but maybe he was having a bad day. You don't know. You don't know the exact situation. But yeah, generally in a business, you wouldn't instantly hang up. And also, we don't know that this is 100% true, but we'll assume it's true. And maybe the guy had a bad day, but anyway. That doesn't mean that the program is bad or bad for your employees. And it's obviously great advice in it, but maybe the people that are selling it, trying to sell it to you, that doesn't have anything to do with the advice that's in the program at all. So that they need to keep those separate, because that doesn't have anything to do with it. I understand why you could also say, well, this person works for Ramsey, and so I don't want to support any Ramsey stuff. And that's up to you if you want to make that decision. Knock yourself out. Dramatic Jelly 9501, Storm Mode. I'm 2 years away from retiring from the Army. I'm also in baby step 2. You're in the Army. You don't stop spending money. Stop spending money on crap. And pay off your debt. Should I be preparing for this transition in the civilian world by going into storm mode and saving up a big pile of cash, or should I continue to be in gazelle intense and focus on paying off debt now? Yeah, you pay off debt now. You don't prepare for it and say you can save all the interest on your debt by paying it off now instead of waiting 2 years. You don't save up money and then make a big payment on debt. That does not help you as much as putting little chunks to it over time. The same way you make more in the market by investing over time rather than saving up a big chunk and putting it all in the market at one time. You're missing all of the growth from the previous times when you could have been putting $10 at a time in or whatever. So it works both ways. You do not save up money to pay debt or to invest. Talon 72997. Why are mortgages okay? Dave Ramsey's general theory is to never have any debt and pay cash for everything, right? And he does advise that you pay cash for your mortgage as well. However, he will not yell at you if you do get a mortgage that fits into his advice, which is 15%. I mean, a 15-year fixed rate, and the mortgage payment equaling approximately 25% of your take-home pay. Why is he okay with mortgages, which would often be the largest, longest debt most people will ever use? Okay, I will tell you. It's because 99.9% of the time, a house is going to appreciate and not depreciate. So that would be why. Next question. Tropical Shy, stage 4 cancer, yikes, 33, single, 34K in credit card debt, Amex and Chase. Hi, all, I need your advice. I've been able to work for the past year, 33, single, no assets. I've accumulated 34K in credit card debt due to having stage 4 cancer. Yep. I would say that cancer is your biggest problem. I don't see myself able to make my next payments. Currently, I've been making the minimum on each. I've yet to default or miss a payment, but this month and the upcoming months, I certainly will miss all the payments, 19K. Yeah, I would like to negotiate a lump sum settlement on both. You can't negotiate it. I don't think. I mean, since you have stage 4 cancer, you can try. You can call them, but if you have made every payment up to now, they don't have any reason to. I mean, they will be fine with you just making that minimum payment for the rest of your life. They're fine with you doing that because of all the interest that they make on that by having loaned you that money. And so they're fine with that. So they have no reason to do that. The only reason to settle a lump sum settlement would be if it's been in collections a while, because they know they may not ever get anything from it. And so, but yeah, you can't generally call. I mean, the fact that you have stage 4 cancer, that may do something. Maybe they have some kind of program or procedures in place for that. And maybe they would be able to work for you. But if you can't make the minimum payment, how are you going to do the lump sum settlement? See, that's the problem. You got to have the money to be able to make a lump sum settlement. You got to have the lump sum to offer to begin with. But definitely the cancer is the biggest problem at the moment. And if you can't pay it, you can't pay it. But as far as the lump sum settlement, they generally would have no reason to do that with you. Language in that one, we'll skip that one. Okay, comfortable, 9787. Step 4, after you max out retirement, has an E in it between the R and M, R-E-M. This one goes out to the one I love. No, missed it. So pitchy, dog. Try one more time. This one goes out to the one I... Nope. The one I can't remember how that goes now. I have a question that I have never heard answered before. Excellent. What do you do with baby step 4 after you maxed out retirement accounts? I thought about putting in a brokerage account. That's one of the ideas. Yep. But we're still paying off our house, and I have heard Dave say throw everything above. Okay, above your 15%, right. So if you're maxing out at 15% of your gross income, then you don't invest more than that. Even though you're not maxed out, you still only do 15%. Now, if you had done 13%, maxing out your retirement accounts, and then you still had to do another 2, then yeah, you could do that 2% in a brokerage account. You can use not a high yield savings, an HSA, a health savings account. That's one of the ways that people do extra investing that way. Let's see, I've been chunking at the house, but I wanted to see what everyone else thought. Yeah, that 15% of gross income is what you invest for retirement, regardless of whether it's in an actual retirement or not. And beyond that, you do pay off the house early before investing 1 penny above the 15% of gross household income. All right, and must not have been listening that long. It does come up quite often. Because people always be wanting to debt leverage and keep the mortgage around, especially ones that have had a mortgage for a while at a low rate. They definitely want to do those 2%. They want to keep those mortgages around and invest the money instead. And that's debt leverage. With that is a Mr. Ramsey no there. TBL 34, step 6 seems so daunting. Better 6 than 2, right? Dog, it all depends on how you look at something. We're in step 4 and about to be in step 6 here soon. Great. A few things I'm putting away for before starting to pay off the mortgage. Like what? I.e. lump sum for pet insurance, if it's in the budget. Vehicle maintenance bucket, okay. Once that's done, we have around $2K to put the mortgage a month. We still have around $210K left on the mortgage. Anyone else see these larger payoffs and just feel overwhelmed? Well, again, it depends on you. It depends on, I mean, you can cut stuff out of your budget and have it be paid off faster. I mean, that's up to you. You can cut your lifestyle and have it paid off faster. That's up to you. You could move down in house and get a cheaper house and have it paid down faster. So all these decisions are up to you. But, I mean, it is a lot of money. And if you're looking at previously, like just like $10,000 debts, you know, maybe a total of 60 or 70, something like that, debt, and then you see 210, and you're still thinking about it like baby step 2, then I can see why you would think it would be daunting, but it's going exactly like it's supposed to go. If you bought too much house, that's on you. If you're living too large right now, that's on you. But I have no reason to think that that would be the case. But, you know, I would think there's some overspending going on if you only have $2K to add to the mortgage per month. Because you don't have any debt. You already have your full emergency fund. I mean, granted, you'd be doing investing as well. But, I mean, I'm just always suspicious on these kind of things because I think where's money going that you're not putting towards your mortgage, that you are putting towards something else. And this person might be investing more as well. And so, but then suddenly not thinking about that when he's answering this question. You know, and he was like, oh, well, I'm investing 25% now. It's like, yeah, no wonder it's going to take forever because you're doing it wrong. So step 1, don't do it wrong. Actually, step 1 is starter emergency fund. As part of step 0, don't do it wrong. I should add that in my video when I make a video on step 0. Don't do it wrong. It's just going to make it take longer. Is that ill confection? 2960. Sugar. How does one get on the show or financial help from Dave himself? I don't think you get financial help from Dave himself unless you call or if he offers it himself to talk to you himself. He's for people on the show. Obviously, he answers the phone, answers the questions himself. So that's a way he helps people. Another way he helps, he gives some people, especially widows. He gives them a free financial coach, but that's probably not him himself doing it. So let's see. Currently 26 man on baby step 1 and live on my own in another state away from family and friends. I'm fully independent and trying to build a foundation for my savings. I'm off to a good start. Got a decent amount put back that I haven't touched. Decent amount put back that I haven't touched. And now it's payday. So I can put half, if not a little more than what I put back last payday. Okay. And still have some money to myself left over for necessities, etc. I do not own a car nor rent one because my license is suspended nationally. Nationally, dog. Woo! Currently use a bike to get back and forth. All right. So I can use guidance. Any help when it comes to getting on the show with the man himself would be Great. Well, I'm not seeing a question here. The thing you would do would be to do the baby steps in order. It's the same for everybody. There's not something that's happening in your life that's going to change the baby steps. It's still the baby steps for everybody. If it doesn't apply, like if you're fortunate enough to not have any debt, then you can skip step 2. And then you go right to full emergency fund. And then you do investing. And you save for key college. If you don't have key college, you can step 5, step 5, 6, skip step 5. Figured it out eventually. And then, and then later, as you go on, you can see if you want to buy a house. So, yeah, I'm not seeing like a particular question here other than how do you get on the show? You have to call. And you have to, one, which is hard enough for some people, you have to get it to ring at all. Some people never get it to ring. If it just goes to voicemail, you can leave a voicemail, but most of those, I think they don't return. And so you have to keep calling until you get a ringing. And then if it's ringing, then you don't get mad and hang up and then call back again. You just stay and let it keep ringing until you talk to the screener, and then you have to convince the screener that it's a good enough question to put on the show. Like if it's not something specific enough and the answer is just going to be follow the baby steps, then you may not get on. So I don't know what your particular question is. It's good that you're saving money, but you shouldn't be saving that money if you have debt. And so it all depends whether you have debt or not. Oh, there's only 16. Let's see if he never had any proper financial guidance. Do baby steps. Read Total Money Makeover. Watch every show. Everyone's advice is different, so I don't know. I guess I'm struggling paycheck to paycheck. Growing up was always struggling. Not if you're saving half of your paycheck every month. You're not struggling. How is that struggling if you're saving half of your paycheck? You make it seem like I'm wanting to do this to save money, but that's not the case. I moved out on my own because I wanted more responsibility and real world problems, which would show my maturity compared to the rest of my family. The rest of your family doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. Do things for yourself. It doesn't. You don't quit comparing to people. A lot of comparisons today. To get an easy way out. Reinstatement fee to do the car. Okay, but I mean that doesn't. Yeah. I don't know. Could be a troll. Could be a troll. Not looking for a handout. Work 40 hours a week. Trying to improve my foundation for financial growth. Then, I mean, you're already, if you can save half of your paycheck, you're already doing a good job. And if you have no debt. Yep. Just advice is all in a plan. It's right there. It's right next to your question. Right there. If you go to RamseySolutions.com, you click on products and look. If you click on the 7 baby steps, it's right here as well, the way he originally wrote them. This here is, some of them are phrased slightly differently on this subreddit. That's the whole point of the show, right? People aren't listening to learn a new piece of financial wizardry. Sure they are. And he's fun to listen to as well, but I mean, just by listening, you learn new pieces of financial wizardry whether you want to or not. All right. All right. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It could be a troll. You never know. It's the internets. You gotta expect trolls. These Army 4881 bought a car in cash today. Is it always this unusual? It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Baby step 4, Flare. I'll start this by saying I've only purchased one other car in my life, so I don't know much about the car sales world. Today, the salesperson could not get it through his head that I was paying in cash. They just don't want to because that means they don't make as much money. If you pay cash, they don't make as much money. And I made that part of the song up by myself. I didn't steal that from anybody. That's an original from Coach Steve Money. He asked me 3 times what my monthly payment budget would be. Yep. Trying to be slick. Always be closing if you want the knife set, salespeople. And in fact, it was his very first question to me upon introduction. Yep, finance manager later tried to push me into a loan after all of this. Of course he did. That's how they make the money. You think they make the money on cars? No, they make the money on a loan. Neither one of them could understand that I was paying in full today. Then I whipped out my checkbook and the salesperson literally says, "You have a checkbook?" Is there more? Yeah, so the problem is you just gotta understand that's how it is at a dealership. That's what you're gonna run into. Also, both of them were harping about me not trading in my other vehicle. I said I was keeping it as an extra fun off-road vehicle, and they peppered me with questions about it. Are they incentivized to get trade-ins? Probably. Because then guess what? If they give you less than your car is worth, then they can get more money by selling it to somebody overpriced. Maybe the sales team was just a little slow. They weren't slow. They're trying to make money. But this experience was clearly cash and Ramsey averse, so it was almost amusing. It felt great to leave with a paid-for car, though. Cash is the only way. Absolutely. And so, yeah, you just got to expect that. I mean, I wouldn't expect any different at a car dealership. Emotional Loss, 9852. I think that person posts quite often. I believe I recognize that name. Retirement planning / investing. I'm familiar with several retirement plans, including Dave Ramsey's. Dave Ramsey's is general advice, so it's not like a specific specific investments. It does tell you what accounts to prioritize, such as match first in any kind of employer sponsored retirement account, excuse me. And then after that, Roth, because it's tax-free growth. And if you have any significant time in the market at all, your growth is going to be way more than your contributions. So you want to pay tax on the contributions and not have to on the growth when you retire. And then if the Roth IRA has a much lower maximum that you can do per year. So if you have money left over to still get to the 15% of gross income, then that's when you would go back into the 401k. You can also do a Roth 401k at work if your boss offers it. And that you can, if you can do your 15% in the Roth 401k, you don't have to have a separate Roth IRA. The only reason to do that would be as if your investment choices suck in the work offered Roth 401k. And then that's when you would still prioritize the Roth 401k after the match. I mean the Roth IRA, excuse me. What I've never understood is why I shouldn't just put all my money into S&P 500 ETF forever. Can someone please explain to me why I shouldn't do this? Because you're leaving money on the table. Let me just show you. So, let's just say you want to be the ultimate lazy and do that. Sure. You do that, you're much better off than somebody that's not doing that. Or most likely you'd be also better off than somebody doing single stocks as well. By day traders, you're still doing better by doing this. Okay, but you see the problem here is S&P 500, 25% for 86 for 5 years. NASDAQ, which is all of your tech stocks. This is the NASDAQ index. 30.36% for 1 year. 123.17%, which is more than the S&P. So at minimum, why aren't you at least doing 50-50 between S&P and NASDAQ? And so, but the problem is, you see this number here, 3036, and the 5-year for 123.17. There are managed large cap funds that make more than the NASDAQ index has, even. And so that's why you don't limit yourself to an index. You're leaving money on the table. Now, again, granted, if you're too stubborn or whatever, I would call it dumb, where you're just going to put in S&P 500, and that way, you know, a friend of mine in the Ramsey show chat, he calls it stupid proof, and it is. If you just open up a account and you just put S&P 500 index fund in it, you are better off than anybody that doesn't have a retirement account at all, for sure. And you're better off than 99.9% of day traders and anybody else that's doing dumb stuff. And so that's fine, but you are leaving so much on the table by not doing managed funds, because you can make more than that, and it doesn't take that much. See this thing right here that I'm on right now? It's the internet. And you can look up any mutual fund at all and see all the information on it. So you can compare them to the index and to other managed funds. And you can find some that consistently beat the indexes. And if they do that, why wouldn't you invest in them? And Dave's general advice is that they have to have at least a 10-year track record. And what you want them to do is, again, beat the 10% average a year that the S&P 500 generates. So that would be the answer on that. Next question. So explain to you why you shouldn't do that. You're leaving money on the table. The answer to that, if there's no way you'll ever look for better funds, if if you just want to leave money, if you're fine with leaving money on the table, whatever, go ahead. You can do that. And most people aren't going to take any of Dave's advice. So, we shouldn't be surprised by people not wanting to take his investing advice either. So, you got people won't take any of this baby step advice at all. And so it's just a small percentage of us that will do this. So just can't be surprised by it. Herinthica, looking for advice, very new to the baby steps. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Weird. Embrace the weirdness, because we are the weird ones. Most people will not do this, just like I said. I've been listening to the podcast. Excellent. Watching videos and learning basically as much as I can about how to do the baby steps. Well, what you want to do is do the baby steps right. That'll be a forthcoming song, and I will address the way people do this stuff incorrectly. Even if they think they're doing the baby steps, they're not. A lot of times. Because they're putting their own little spins on it. Such as when they save $1,000 as fast as possible. That's what it says right there. And then it says pay off all debts. And they're paying off all debts from smallest to largest. But with some of their money, they're putting $10 extra a week, adding to the starter emergency fund of $1,000. And it doesn't say to do that there. So why would you even think to do that? So don't do that. You're not going to improve on these steps. Millions of documented success stories for Mr. Ramsey. No other financial advisor comes anywhere close to that kind of track record. A little background on me and okay. Hopefully not War and Peace. No, not too long. Make about 35K a year before taxes, and currently support both myself and a partner who is unable to work off of my one income. If you are not married, you shouldn't be living together, and you shouldn't be paying for all of the partner's stuff. So that would be you doing it wrong. I have 12K in credit card debt that has gone into collections I'm not making payments on. Okay, our car is, so it's our car, but the partner's unable to work, and so boom, 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 boom. All right, let's see what the actual question is for the advice. And I might also advise on things that weren't asked about, as I often do. Luckily paid off on the car. Okay, great. Gas, insurance, registration. Our rent is awful high for my income, $705 a month. Indeed. That's why you need, when it's hour, you need to have multiple people working. If you're only going to be making that much, I mean, this is not a high cost of living area issue. This is any cost of living area. Is this full time that you're making that much? Let's get about $291 a month in food stamps for my partner. I do not put any money in my 401k. Okay, baby step one. I've only managed to save $50 or so towards emergency fund. I would imagine, yeah. You got to pay for two people, paying for food for two people, paying rent for two people. Let's see. I want to make changes to our budget that would improve the amount we could save, but am unsure how to convince my partner to follow the steps. The partner is not bringing any money. Does the partner have a vote? I mean, it should be if you are married, it all goes together and there are equal votes, but if you're not married, you shouldn't be living together. You should not have to finance life for this person. So I don't know what kind of situation is going on. You're just using the word partner, so I don't know. They, okay, don't like Dave Ramsey. Okay, so here you go. Here you go. If you met this partner before since you're new to the baby steps, I'm going to assume that you spent time with partner before being acquainted with the baby steps. And so guess what? It's not partner's problem. That it's not his fault or her fault. It's not their fault that you found good advice. I mean, granted, it's the best advice you should do, and you should both do it. Absolutely, you should. But it's not their fault. They are still the same way they were when you met them. You are the one that's changed, and so you have to have some grace for them on that. But Dave wouldn't advise any of this partner bullcrap or living together or anything like that. They do not like, yeah, I believe that keeping things like the $100 a month for their fun money in our Spotify subscription is important. Yeah, well, meanwhile, I want to nix them and cut back to the four walls. Yep. Plus internet and phone and save the most possible. Right, because you have found this plan and you believe in it and partner doesn't. And the problem is because you're not married, you're not tied together that much. Except you think you have to provide for them. And so, I mean, I don't know the exact situation on that. No idea, but I mean, that's rough. That's rough. I mean, with having to support somebody and they can't do anything to bring in any money. That is crazy. And so, I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with you saying, well, I'm making the money. I mean, again, because it's not a traditional relationship. It's not a marriage. Like, for example, Mr. Ramsey gives Sharon Ramsey equal vote. Even though she doesn't bring in a cent of money. I mean, obviously, she does things for the house and stuff like that. So if she wasn't around, there would definitely be things that he would have to do extra, and so she does that. But she gets an equal vote. But they are married. and they didn't live together before they were married. And so you're doing it wrong. Any advice on how to convince my partner that extra spending is unnecessary and that we should follow these proven steps would be greatly appreciated. I don't think that partner has the right attitude anyway, because a partner that's not making any money, I wouldn't be saying, oh, well, I want to have $100 for fun money, even though I don't work. And you couldn't even, because of supporting me, you can't even pay off $12K in credit card debt without it going into collections because you're supporting me. I would think about that. I would be less selfish. So I think this person's kind of selfish. Granted, there could be tons of stuff going on here that we don't know about. So who knows? And that we should follow the proven steps would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, you should definitely follow the proven steps. That's actually it. I don't know how you get somebody on board like that. That it seems to me is being selfish. Again, we only hear just like on the show, the calls, we hear from one side of it. And so there we go. Ron Swanson, shout out Parks and Recreation, a fabulous show. 682. Why is the emergency fund 3 to 6 months? Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. I've been wondering this for a while. Dave Ramsey, along with many other financial professionals, recommended 3 to 6 month emergency fund. I was wondering where they got this from. Why not a year or 9 months? I don't even disagree with the number, just wondering where it came from. I don't know. Good question. But what I do have for you is the difference between the 3 to 6 months. 3 months is if you are like single and have no job or life drama. Like if you all of a sudden lost your job, within 3 months you should be able to find another one. And so that's based on that. And it being maxed at 6 months, why you don't have a year emergency fund is because you don't want to be saving liquid cash for that long without going ahead to do the other baby steps, which is 4, 5, and 6, which is investing 50% of gross income into retirement, saving for kid college if that applies, and paying off your mortgage early if that applies. And so that way you're not saving up forever for a year emergency fund. That way you're moving on to that. But 6 months is enough, is what I would think on that. But why not 9 months? Again, because that's too much. You have other baby steps you need to do. So that would be the reasoning on that. All right. Anyone have access to financial finesse through their employer? No, I do not know what that platform is. It is not a Ramsey platform that I'm aware of. All righty. So that's 2 hours today. It just flies by, folks. Flies by. As soon as I find the button, there we go. Restart it. I am Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach Steve Money. And you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world. You could email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, about anything on my channel, financial coaching, anything like that. Donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney, or Walmart gift card too. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams. This stream, answering your financial questions, is Saturdays and Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, which is the time that Mr. Ramsey takes to the video on YouTube during the week. And so I handle weekends. You're welcome. The Ramsey Show After Show is, next one is Wednesday, July 17th, approximately 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as soon as the Ramsey Show video that day ends. All right. I thought I would just have that going, just so people, if they were confused, because a lot of people are confused about it, so I put this explanation of the baby steps in there so that they don't do dumb stuff like not do baby steps 1, 2, and 3 separately, one at a time, before moving to a higher step. And so I thought I would put that in there. Cool. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you so much if you've done any of that before, or even watch 1 second of my videos. I know there's a ton of content out there, so much appreciated. And so thank you very much. Very, very humbled by anybody that pays any attention to me ever. Alrighty. Make smart financial decisions every day.